Hey guys. I thought I'd be creative with the microphone today. What is more Christmassy than putting it on a freaking candy cane? Very much in the Christmas spirit around me. I hope this is gonna not fall on me because I think this is very, very fun and I think I should do this for every single sitting down video that I'm gonna do on Vlogmas. I have gummy bears right next to me, so I will be eating them. It's getting more difficult filming now because it's like currently like 2:30 and it already got like dark at 2, like dark-ish, like gray out. You're like, but Sophia, the blinds behind you, they're down. Yeah, because otherwise the lighting is super bad. I wanted to give you a good quality video. It's good I can't see myself in the little screen, so we're gonna be making a lot of eye contact today. I just hope I'm kind of in the middle. I hope that I'm in focus since I can't see shit. I haven't even said what we're gonna do today. So I asked you guys on Instagram and on TikTok if you guys can tell me some of your unpopular bookish opinions. Guys, you disappointed me. I got like no replies like I did enough to make this video. It's also half my fault for putting this thing up 14 hours before filming. I'm gonna start with the ones on Instagram because why not? So the first unpopular opinion is stopping in the middle of a chapter. I mean, girl, what do you mean? Do you like this or do you not? Do you do this? Because I do this. I do this like more than I would like to. When I was filming the continuing series video, I found this book that I hadn't continued since July and I continued it in November. Apparently I stopped in the middle of a chapter in July. And I do that with my current reads as well. Also, like with audiobooks, it's a little bit more difficult, I'd say, to like not stop in the middle of a chapter. But even when I'm like just reading, like most of the time, yeah, I'll like finish the chapter and go on TikTok like any normal person does. A lot of the times, if I'm not enjoying a book, I will just stop in the middle of a chapter. If I get interrupted and then I forget and then I do other things, it happens. Okay, guys, it happens. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It's also like more unsatisfying for myself if I then continue reading later on. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, it was kind of a big deal when I didn't continue it for like 5 months and then I was like, what is the story even about? Reading a book once a month still makes you a reader. I don't understand what this whole like discussion on TikTok and on the internet has been about. If you only read like 1 book a month or like you barely read, like then you're not a real reader. You are reading books, therefore you are a reader. I think it's like really gotten a lot worse in the last couple of years. I've now been doing this officially for 3 years and I've been on Book Talk for like 2.5, but I will say definitely over the years it's gotten a lot worse with the competitiveness, people just trying to be better than other people, trying to make arguments about why other people aren't as good as they are themselves. And I just think it's like, when did we just stop talking about fun books? I think it's also like some people, they are rage baiting and pretending to be Book Talk. Also those biker guys, and they are kind of ruining everything, not gonna lie to you. So I just think that people should just leave each other alone when it comes to like these competitive and negative remarks, because like, what's the point? You're stressing me out, you're stressing yourself out. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, babe. Oh! This is okay, this is definitely controversial, unpopular. Somebody said sprayed edges are ugly. I can see where you're coming from though, because I'm not gonna lie to you, the one-colored sprayed edges, they can be cute, but sometimes the shade won't match and it just looks ugly. I've seen a lot of ugly sprayed edges. I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually was thinking about this myself. Sprayed edges are beautiful on their own, but if you have like, if it's like part of a series and then like, let's say one of the like middle ones has sprayed edges but the rest don't, it does look kind of like off on your bookshelf, for example. That is a crazy take, girl. Like, I can understand where you're coming from, especially if the designs like are ugly. Honestly, just saves you money probably because you can just buy the cheaper version without the sprayed edges. I don't like it when books are marketed only with tropes, and I oh my god, this is my time to shine. Okay, I think it helps. I think it definitely helps if you add like 1 or 2 tropes in like, I don't know, the description or on your Instagram story, on an Instagram post. But I also don't like it because if you say childhood best friends, accidental pregnancy, one night stand, enemies to lovers, or honestly anything, you are low-key spoiling the plot, especially if it comes to like a fantasy book or something. It's not like directly spoiling specific things, but like it does like kind of ruin it because it takes, also like the whole accidental pregnancy trope. In my eyes, it's not so accidental anymore because I knew it was fucking coming. I think my personal favorite way of promoting a book is with book quotes that are so vague but make you want to read the book. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't tell you much about the context or anything really, but it's just like such a good quote that you're like, Ooh, because if you know me or have watched any of my videos, whenever I describe a book, I do it so vaguely. You're probably now with like less information than before I told you what it was about. Tessa Bailey's books are overhyped, and I kind of have to agree with this one. So there's literally a Tessa Bailey book staring at me right from like right there. I have owned a lot of Tessa Bailey books. So I owned Happen One Summer, and then like Fix Her Up, Tools and Engagement, and it was like a 3-book series. The only 2 books that I still own are Window Shopping and My Killer Vacation, because Window Shopping I wanted to keep for this winter to see, because it's like a kind of a Christmassy novella, and My Killer Vacation I have read, so that's why I kept it. The other books I decided to sell my Vinted, and they have been gone because I've had them for 2.5 years, 2 years, and I haven't read them. I tried to pick up It Happened One Summer twice. I got like 40 pages in. I couldn't groove with it, and the thing is I have so many other books that I would enjoy, that I know I'm gonna enjoy, that I'd rather like keep my focus on them. It was also like partially my fault for like buying a whole author's like backlist without reading one singular book from by them. It is probably not an unpopular opinion, but I hate super long chapters. I don't think it is an unpopular opinion, but I hate them too, girl. It will literally put me off a book. Say You Swear was worse than any wattpad book I've ever read. I haven't read Say You Swear. It is on my TBR, which makes this a little bit embarrassing because I actually have high hopes for it, because I've seen a lot of people like say that it was emotional, but I've also seen a lot of bad reviews, and I think this is like such a split. I think it's like very 50-50 on what you thought of it. I'll keep this in mind. Won't set my expectations too high. I don't have much else to say to that one. I love fake dating / marriage for convenience, I'm assuming. I think that's my favorite trope. I think that is my favorite romance trope. I've really come to love single dad, single mom, even though I hate kids in real life. So this was like kind of a weird revelation to come to, or whatever conclusion to come to. No, but fake dating, it just hits different. I think also because All the Boys I've Loved Before really set that like fake dating like prime example in my little head. I could watch that movie a million times, honestly. I stand for fake dating. If you don't like it, what the fuck is wrong with you? Okay, those were all the ones on Instagram. Let's go to TikTok. Okay. I hate spice in books, except when it's just a bit of flirting and stuff like that. So like banter. I don't like fully agree. I don't hate it. There's a phase of my life where I did absolutely despise it, and I would want to projectile vomit everywhere when I read it. That definitely had a lot to do with my mental state, and not to get too TMI, but with my hormones and stuff, like obviously if you're not digging it, you're not gonna dig it. Like I do think this is like, definitely a personal preference, obviously, but it can definitely ruin a good book, especially when it isn't done right. Like I've seen so many times where the tension is great and then the spice just completely ruins it, because like, or like there's no like aftercare, or like they don't care for each other and it feels too physical. I think it definitely can ruin a book, but this is not a bad opinion to have, and I don't think it's that unpopular either. I think a lot of people do prefer no spice. Like for me, I'd prefer that I only do that kind of stuff like later into the book when they are actually in love with each other, and you know, you can feel the emotions rather than just you're so sexy baby girl. But then, on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, somebody said a bit of smut is actually necessary in a good romance book. Hey, crazy take. And again, I can understand where you're coming from, because as if I'm like speaking directly to that person. No. Again, I think it depends on the book. Obviously, in a YA book, no, a YA romance book, no thank you. That is not necessary. I think it might be necessary, like it doesn't have to be like very detailed or anything, or explicit or graphic, but I think maybe like even if it's like a fade to black mention, I think it might like be necessary in some cases to make the reader feel the couple's connection, that they're like actually physically attracted to each other, and that they actually do have that spark, and that they're actually into each other. I do think with some books I have read, and then I feel like if they didn't like, you know, I would have thought they were friends. Hetero romance novels are just so boring to me. Anything queer is perfect. As a queer person myself, I don't agree. I don't think I can agree, because I've barely read any queer romances, and I think that is a fault on my part. Hey, I should be more inclusive. But I have read like the Heartstopper graphic novels, which I do love, and I feel like they did have something else, but I think that's also the whole like mental health aspect to them. I definitely think romance books can get boring. With queer books, you do often, I mean, I'm now just assuming, okay, that you also have like the whole aspect of like, you know, are they out, are they not? Also just like being in the girls dating pool, everyone is friends with their exes and it's so messy. I feel like you can make it like a lot more difficult and like a lot more like a challenging romance story and a more gripping, hard-hitting romance story because there's just so many more factors to consider when going into dating with someone of the same sex or something like that. Also like fighting against social norms. It sounds like I'm making fun of these books. I am not. This is just how I speak. Third act breakup, when done correctly, is so good. So good in all capitals. Let me think what I think of this. I think I can agree in some form of some kind of way. Okay, I don't know if Bay means it in this way, but I'm just gonna interpret it in this way. I've read books where they don't like actually like fully break up or they were never together, but that there's like an issue. And to me, honestly, if it's a third act breakup and it's just not miscommunication, I immediately hate it less. Because I hate it when they break up just because they cannot fucking use their mouths and speak to each other. Because I swear to God, that's the most embarrassing thing. Like, what do you mean you're 35 and you cannot be like, oh, I didn't talk to you because I was at the gym. I think I can understand where you're coming from, Bae, but I would just prefer if there isn't one. I love the accidental pregnancy trope. I have honestly only read one book with the accidental pregnancy trope, and that was Reckless, and I did love Reckless. So in a way, I feel like I can agree. I think it's again one of those things, if it's done right, I think definitely you can mess it up, but also just the way it was done in Reckless, it was not how I expected it to go at all, like their story. But honestly, accidental pregnancy, like I always thought that I wouldn't like it just because I don't like babies. As I've also come to learn that I enjoy the single dad, single mom, like nanny tropes, accidental pregnancy could definitely fall into that as well, because it has the kind of the same thing of like caring for each other, looking out for each other, helping each other. Because I don't really understand why so many people hate on it. Maybe because I just haven't really like read any, and there's probably some really bad ones out there because I can think of how bad you could write accidental pregnancy. Okay, last one. Fantasy is such an overhyped genre. Girl, I don't know what to say to this. I don't want to sound mean, but I don't think necessarily that genres can be overhyped directly, because I think there's a massive target group within each genre. Like there's a bunch of like businessmen out there that read those like finance books. There's like a whole different group of people that only read thrillers. Like a lot of like, and honestly I still think that fantasy has not gotten enough hype, like especially like compared to like romance. I'm not saying that these genres can necessarily be hyped. I think it's just more focusing on TikTok right now and like on the internet. I think definitely on the internet, I think fantasy has just gotten all of a sudden a lot more traction because of like Fourth Wing and ACOTAR. But I think if you look at just like the average population, like the average world outside of the internet, I don't really think genres can be overhyped. I think it can be overhyped in the sense that you might be seeing too much of it on your feed, if that makes sense. Oh, just another one. Why is everyone going at it now? Right when I'm deciding to film. Okay, somebody said, this is actually very on theme, Christmas books are boring. And I can definitely understand where you're coming from, babe, because I feel like there's only so much you can do. But also, I feel like there's so many Christmas books I haven't read. This is, again, one of those things where I'm like, it's such a broad thing to say, because there's, like, crime Christmas books, there's murder mystery Christmas books, there's romance Christmas books, there's probably a fantasy Christmas book out there. I mean, yeah, I guess if you don't enjoy Christmas, you won't enjoy Christmas books. It just brings such a warm and cozy vibe to the book, like I don't even care. It ended up being a lot more than I thought. But yeah, this was a crazy ride. I definitely think I discovered some opinions of myself that I didn't even really like was aware of. I'm sorry for other people who like hate on my burps. It's a natural response. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and fart, but like, what if I did? I'm exhausted from all that thinking. I'm not made for this. If you're still watching, comment this little emoji up here. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was a little crazy, but that's just how I am. And I'll see you tomorrow on Vlogmas Day. I don't even fucking know.